not good at that.
Doesn't matter. However you feel. All right, so what up, folks? What up, folks on Facebook? What up, folks on YouTube? Dolphin Fan Voice Podcast. This is a tough one to do, man. I gotta be honest, because there's really, to me, there's really nothing to look forward to. Want to go ahead and introduce yourself, man?
Yeah, my name's Ron Hyatt. I live in Northern California, born and bred here, but I've always been a Dolphin fan since I can remember, going back to the 70s.
All right. My name is Isaiah Harris, and I've been a Miami Dolphin fan my entire life. Grew up across the Lake Lucerne, Joe Robbie Stadium back in those days. I was basically born a Dolphin fan. And as I said on my Facebook page, I'm going to die a Dolphin fan. There isn't a bandwagon bone here. But I am very, very disappointed. And I guess what we can start this this video off with is going back and talking about what transpired last week, Dolphins versus Patriots. Coming into last week, I had us winning that Patriot game. I thought that we would go out there and somehow pull out the win versus the Patriots, and sadly, that was not the case, as the Dolphins ended up losing 35-17. There were some decent spots in the game. Like, there was one spot where we had scored a touchdown and we were marching again. We had a little bit of momentum, and if we would have scored at that point, it would have made the game 28-24 with an opportunity. And crazy, we ended up losing that game. What did you think about the Dolphin versus Patriot game, man?
I thought we were fighting really good. We had a chance to win it, and then we started making the same mistakes that we're all tired of seeing this year that we shouldn't be making. There was a couple, we shaved the penalties down, which was finally nice to see. We didn't have as many, but it's just the scheme. We looked like we were going to do good against Tom Brady. We were hitting him a lot. We weren't getting sacks necessarily, but he was having to move around. He wasn't comfortable like he likes to be. It's just the coverages, like when it was only 7-0 and we gave them the ball right back, and they were going down. At one point, they lined up the wide receivers inside, put the tight ends on and running backs on the outside. React to that, we left linebackers on the two wide receivers, and we were covering the tight ends and the running backs with our corners. There was no adjustment. There was no trying to figure it out, and the Patriots used that to their advantage, and seemed like it was always on a third down. That's what I was looking at. It's just mistakes that we could fix that just I don't understand. I guess that's part of being what you get when you have a rookie defensive coordinator, but I don't know.
Last game, missing two starters on the offensive line, and James and Bushrod really showed. 7 sacks given up by the makeshift offensive line. I know there's a lot of people that like to throw a lot of the blame at this O-line, but this O-line has had some games where it's played pretty good pass blocking. And last game was by far the worst that I've seen this entire season. I don't know, man. I'm very down right now. Like I want to be hyped. Every game I go into, getting ready to watch the game, man, I like to say, yeah, I want to go out and win that game. I want to go out and beat the Broncos. But now it's like, what for? There's absolutely no reason for this team to go and beat the Broncos. I think the last game was the game that if we win that game, it could have catapulted us, given us some momentum to go ahead and beat the Broncos. And we would have been 2 in a row coming back to Foxborough. Is it Foxborough? No, I think this game is going to be in Miami, the next Patriot game. But
yeah, Monday night will be at Hard Rock in Miami.
Now this sets the stage for that Miami game to be a complete embarrassment. I mean, it could absolutely get out of hand in that game because there's really nothing to play. Well, maybe because it's a home field game, we play a little bit better. But I don't want to win that game. I would love for us to lose out and then go into the draft and hopefully all of the cards fall the right way for us and we can get the best pick possible.
What's killing us on our offensive line that you brought up is the lack of being able to combo block. Like those blitzes, we had the protection called correctly. All Larson and Pouncey had to do was take the guys that were being slid off like that. They were sliding. The line was slanted in the zone read to the left, to the right side. And that one sack that we took when we were still in striking distance, all Larson had to do was take the guy that Tunsil handed off to him, and he was standing there in the gap for the linebacker, and all he had to do was touch it. Instead, he stays there and tries to help Tunsil. And I think it goes to all these guys are trying to cover up mistakes, and they're making bigger mistakes.
Yeah. Oh my God, that one play where the linebacker comes right up the middle of the line, and
7 sacks, dude, and they were just free runners.
Yeah,
and it's just we had it in front of us. That's what I really would like to see, even if he isn't a good replacement, is to slide Asiata or Jake Brindle at right guard and leave Jesse Davis at right tackle. Out of all 3 positions that 4 positions he's played on that offensive line, his best work has been at tackle.
Right.
Remember that game a few games ago? He had to come in for Tunsil, who left for a couple of series. And all of a sudden, that left side of the line could actually pass block and run block.
Yep.
Then James goes out, and I was in his panic. I was like, okay, now, we just lost actually our best offensive lineman this year. And then Jesse come out, and Jesus Christ, we started moving the ball. I was like, what the hell's going on? But what happened is he's so big. He's 6'8", he's 312 pounds, and he's got those long arms. He's not suited for inside at guard.
Nope.
And it's not being able to see those adjustments and know where your guys can go at this point.
This game versus the Denver Broncos, of course, we're going to face Von Miller. So here comes another freakish defensive end. Linebacker / defensive end. We're going to catch a break because Aqib Talib is going to be out. They still have Roby. They have Harris. Now, fortunately, this is not a great offense. They've been playing the shuffleboard at quarterback. Now they're back to Trevor Siemian, who started off.
Yeah.
They went to Osweiler. And I think they had the other kid in there. I forget his name. And he got hurt.
Paxton Lynch, the rookie.
Yep, he got hurt.
The guy they drafted a couple. Yeah.
Now they're back to Siemian. So they went around the circle and came back to Siemian. But shit, McCown gave us some issues.
Fitzpatrick gave us issues.
Patrick gave us it. I have no reason to believe that Siemian is not going to give us issues. So yeah, we'll probably make this guy look like Joe Montana. I tell you, when we went into the offseason and we picked up the guys that we picked up, Hayes, Harris, I thought the pass rush would be deadly, and it's been anything but. I can't put my finger on it. I don't understand that at all.
I like the move for Hayes.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be good, but I didn't think he was going to be that good. Our run defense at those first 3 games of the season,
yeah,
was just absolutely fucking tremendous. We went from literally giving up 150 yards per game in the rushing attack. That first game against the Chargers, we only gave up, 40-something yards total rushing.
Yeah.
And that accounted for Rivers scrambling. And that was Gordon, who's a good running back. Yeah. And that Eckler kid, or whatever his name is, that young kid.
Yep, and he had
on one run.
I think that was Brandon Oliver, wasn't it?
So yeah, something like that.
And he had the best run of the game. I think
yeah, he did. Yeah, you're right. He had that on. They went to the shotgun look, the pistol look.
Yep.
And then they went to the draw, and he got 14 yards or 13 yards or something.
Yep. So I mean.
But now the Broncos have C.J. Anderson healthy.
Yep.
They're going to put Trevor Siemian, like you said. They're back to their going around rosy with their 3 quarterbacks. We enter the game with just Kenyon Drake and Davion Smith activated off the practice squad. He's going to rotate in with Drake at running back. And our third running back, they've been practicing all week but haven't said nothing.
I heard it was that guy from Chicago. I heard it was Langford that's going to be the third.
They never signed him. Instead, they acquired that A.J. Derby.
Oh, okay.
And Gase is probably going to stick with just that rookie Davion Smith. Kenyon Drake, the starter. Utilize Gray more at fullback. I believe a couple of games ago he was in the third down and short yardage. Oh. And they actually handed it to him, faking it to the halfback, and he was used like a big fullback. And he actually got 3 yards on that 3rd and 1.
I would love to see what we actually have in Davion Smith. Coming into this year, I didn't have a lot of questions about the offense, other than maybe a hole or two on the offensive line. I felt like we had an identity at the running back. We had a big power back in the backfield. We had our 3 receivers. I mean, there were some questions about Thomas, but now we're going into this offseason with all kind of questions. I mean, you got
more than we had at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. There's so many, like, what are we going to do at running back? What's going to happen with Landry? Is Parker on his way out? We know we don't have the answer with Thomas. What's going to happen with Ryan Tannehill coming back? Like,
keeping Carew and Grant, or are we moving on? What's going on with those two?
Exactly. Like, there's 1.5 million questions, and that's just on offense. And then you flip to the defensive side of the ball, and there's questions. There's a litany of questions over there as well. So, I mean, I feel like we're in a worse.
Yeah, what are we gonna do about linebacker?
Yep.
Sorry.
I mean, at least we get McMillan back, but we don't know how he's gonna come back off of his injury. So it's nothing but questions on this team right now. It's sad to have a 10-6 team, and now we're sitting at 4-7, and we're right back to trying to get the best draft pick possible. I saw fans telling me that we should go ahead and just try to win the rest of these games, and I don't understand that philosophy at all.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. They were all, we can still have a 9-7, and we can possibly, if a couple teams lose, we could get that 6th seed. And I'm like, why?
To do what? To go out and get thumped in the playoffs? Now,
sit in the draft at, what, 21, 22 again?
Exactly.
And have massive holes. We already can tell Ted Larson and German Bushrod are not the answer at guard.
No.
We got lucky. We did find Jesse Davis off of, I forgot what team's practice squad. And this young kid that Greer brought in from Virginia, that Eric Smith.
Yeah.
Now, those two kids have potential at the tackle spot. But now we're entering the 5th-year option on, is he worth $9.3 million?
James?
Is Mike Pounce? Yes. Is Mike Pounce worth $9 million? That's what his escalator for 2018 is.
Shit.
So we got, what, $18 million in a center and a tackle. Do we keep them, or what do we do? So there's 4 of your 5 offensive line positions in question. Now you mentioned it also. What do we do at corner? We can see that Davion Howard is he's a good backup, maybe, but he's not shut down. Our best corner right now is Bobby McCain.
Yep.
And before the season, everybody was calling for that dude on a pike to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Tank is our 2nd best cornerback right now, though, unless Lippett comes back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Lippett, we'll have to give Lippett some time. He's coming off of the Achilles tear.
Yeah. So we don't know what we're going to get back in him.
And we haven't tested Torrey McTyer to see if he is like an answer, or if, that corner needs to be on the list. We can't afford to sign somebody, so we can't use the excuse, we'll just go grab Breeland from the Eagles, who's going to be a free agent. That dude's going to want some money because he's one of the top 10 rated corners coming up.
Yep.
And he's mainly playing in the slot. Do we keep Bobby McCain, who's cheap, who's doing good in the slot, or do we pay massive money for someone to take his spot? You can't do that.
I would keep Bobby McCain. I would keep Tank. And if at all possible, if there is a rock solid star up top in the draft, you have to do it. You have to go out. I mean, if you can get a lockdown corner, I don't think you pass on that. And that's why I had all those problems. And I'm sure you guys have seen me post this with the Cowboys and what they done. I thought that was stupid as hell.
So you saying you don't think Xavier Howard has the potential to be a lockdown corner?
No.
I mean, it is his 2nd year.
He's iffy to me. Like, some games he plays good, and the next game he gets roasted. So it's like
he's inconsistent.
Yeah, he's very inconsistent.
I look at it like, how is he looking, if he had, how he's adapting to the scheme? Does he show that he's understanding what he's supposed to do and he's just getting beat by a better guy? Or is he not showing that he understands actually what the coaches are looking at? And right now, he's behind on that, who is a rookie, a 3rd-round pick. And remember, we moved some picks up to traded up in the 2nd round to grab Howard, and to have our third round pick a year later, that's actually ahead on the learning curve than a guy who's been here already.
True.
I think if you keep him, because he is still under his rookie contract.
We have to find,
we still have to find somebody that can compete and push, that can actually be a shutdown corner. Look what the Saints did with one draft. They took Marshawn Lattimore at 11 from Ohio State, In the second round, they took Marcus Williams to play free safety. And now Marshawn Lattimore is the highest rated corner in the NFL, and he's a rookie.
Yeah.
They transformed their back end, which was worse than the Miami's back end. And now they're winning games now because he's shutting down dudes. He's picking the ball off. He's making tips. He's causing fumbles. Our boundary corners have no interceptions.
Nope. See,
that's strong safety, and Jones has 2, and Bobby McCain has 2 from the slot.
See, that's why I like Lippett so much, because of his ball skills. Man.
That's it.
Lippett has some great
and he's great ball skills. He's a former wide receiver. He learned corner playing for us. We drafted him as a wide receiver in the 5th round and then converted him to a corner. And he's 6'3". He's got those long arms. And he just is smooth down the field, sticking to guys.
Yeah. Man.
I look at it, I'd love to keep our positioning right around that 5 to 8 overall in the draft.
Yeah.
And be in position to grab a guy like Alabama's Minkah Fitzpatrick, who can play nickel, any safety, or either side on the boundary. He's played all of the secondary positions for Alabama in a Nick Saban defense.
Yeah.
And look at the production that the Ravens have gotten out of Bobby Humphrey from Alabama, who everyone was saying, well, he's stiff and he's prone to pass interferences because he holds on. He's shutting dudes down too. He got the knock that Tankersley got is that he commits the PIs. He gets a little handsy, grabsy. Tankersley really hasn't committed very many pass interferences.
Oh.
And he's got his hands on some balls that created that interception at the Atlanta game to seal the win for us when Atlanta was in field goal range.
Yep.
So a Minkah Fitzpatrick would look good. Everybody's screaming for Baker Mayfield, who wouldn't be a bad pick. And then I like Lamar Jackson. For some reason, that kid has just he's throwing the ball efficient. He has a great arm with touch, and then he can run like Michael Vick. But how do you pass up like a Bradley Chubb from North Carolina State at defensive end that can play linebacker? Minkah Fitzpatrick that can play any of the positions in the secondary and blitz. And right now, since Bama is short on safeties, he's playing safety. With corner skills.
We're talking about the draft, the future of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys. I was kind of late.
And then there's that Iowa kid, Joshua Jackson. In the last 3 weeks, he's got 3 pick sixes.
Who's the best DB in the that's gonna
right now? Lance Zierlein and Todd McShay say the best corner is Minkah Fitzpatrick from Alabama.
You're going to say something, Isaiah?
No, go ahead.
Well, at the skill position, there's not a lot of impressive kids coming out. If you're not looking at these quarterbacks, these top quarterbacks, there's not a lot of great skill position. As far as the Dolphins are concerned, I feel like the Dolphins, they're not a bad team. They're not a team, in my opinion, that's far away. You know me, you guys. I like to use analogies, right? The Miami Dolphins remind me of a dirty room that needs a cleanup. And the problem that the Dolphins have when they start, what they need to do is, just imagine you in a dirty room and you need to clean up. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to sweep up, get rid of all the things that you don't need. The problem with the Miami Dolphins is they'll get rid of, if I'm using an analogy, they'll get rid of their TV. You don't throw away your TV because you're going to need your TV. You don't throw away your bed because you're going to need your bed. The problem that the Miami Dolphins got to do, in my opinion, is get rid of all the junk that they have laying around. The things that they don't need, like the Jay Cutlers of the world and the people that's just here, that's just, you know what I'm saying? that's collecting money. I don't believe that they're far away, in my opinion.
Who do you think they need to get rid of? I know who I want to get rid of, and it would clear salary cap so we can keep guys that we want to keep and possibly target a guy like there's rumors on the thing that Jacksonville is willing to move away from an Allen Robinson, a 6'3" kid at wide receiver.
Ooh. Allen Robinson?
So yeah, they're talking they might just draft some kid in the draft and let Allen Robinson walk.
What kind of money would he be asking for, though?
I don't know. That was what my sticking point is. Does it come down to you choosing Jarvis Landry or Allen Robinson? And Landry's not coming off an injury, and Allen Robinson's coming off a torn Achilles. Do you pay the $10 million to Allen Robinson and pass up paying $10 million to Juice?
No,
I take the guy I know. I give the $10 million to Juice.
Landry. You don't get rid of Jarvis Landry at this point.
Adam Beasley's positioning that Jarvis is only looking in that 10 to 13 million range. And if we're dumb and we franchise tag him with Odell, whenever Odell decides to sign and whatever that figure is, could literally take the franchise tag from 15 million to 18 million for Jarvis. And Mike Tannenbaum sounds like he's willing to just, well, I'll just throw the franchise tag out there. And to me, I'd like to keep Jarvis, but I don't want to keep crippling our salary cap every single year to overreach for dudes just to keep them. Like if he's only asking for 13, just give it to him now. Well, because if you franchise tag him, it's in the 15 to 18 range.
Let me ask you.
You're saving yourself $2 million. And I don't think we're very far away either. I think this season is unique in this instance, like Isaiah kind of touched on it earlier in the intro, is no one saw us losing our quarterback.
Right.
Taking our second-round pick, who was not just a pick. He was going to be the starting middle linebacker. Then we lose Lippett, who was a starting corner for us last year. He kept coming in because Vance Joseph kept benching Davion Howard for getting burnt. And now, who do we go to when Davion is struggling? Altron Werner? We already saw what happened with the Jets. The fucking McCown made him look like a garbage 69-yard touchdown. He never even touched Anderson, and Anderson's not even one of those elite wide receivers. Come in 2 plays later, it's a 69-yard touchdown bomb. Yeah, well, when Lippett come in, Lippett was picking dudes off.
Yep.
Let me ask you, I got a question for you guys. Do you think it's the talent on this team, or do you think Adam Gase just had a bad coaching year this year? Or do you think that the talent on this team, do you think that this is a 4-7 team?
I don't.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think what we've seen this season has been the perfect storm.
Yep, I agree.
Coming into this season, I had us at 11-5.
Right.
That I had us winning 11 games. I thought Ryan Tannehill was going to have a monster 13 and 12-13 season. I thought Jay Ajayi was going to run for another 1,200 yards. I thought Devontae Parker was going to have a breakout season. I thought Kenny Stills was going to follow him and have another good season. Thought Jarvis Landry was going to have the consistent seasons that he's always had. And I thought the defense would improve drastically. Then we started having all of these issues. Ryan Tannehill goes down. Lippett goes down. You trade away Jay Ajayi. And it's been you don't get a freaking bye week. The bye week comes at the first week of the season. And it's been the perfect freaking storm in this season.
Yeah, and you add in Timmons, who's supposed to come in to be the leader on the defense for you at the linebacker spot, going AWOL in week 1.
Yep.
And then getting suspended. Yep. And then Ray Maualuga finally gets in shape and comes in, and He goes to a strip club at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, 3 hours from a team meeting, and he refuses to pay a $40 fucking tab at a strip club, breaks into a Baskin Robbins and is laying on the counter fucking eating the fucking soft serve ice cream. That's where the cops found his fucking fat ass, is underneath the soft serve ice cream. You just keep adding that shit together, and then Gase got who he wanted to get for players he brought in. He went to bat for Julius Thomas, so we traded away Brandon Albert, ate his big salary.
Yep.
Then we traded. We went and got Ted Larson, brought him in at offensive line, re-signed Bushrod. Those are all Gase's ideas. All those moves have not panned out this year.
Go ahead.
I said that, Isaiah, because I'm sitting at home with my dad. My dad is a huge Miami Dolphins fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sitting at home with my dad and my girlfriend. And my girlfriend, she's not a big football fan. I'm trying to get her around to start watching football. But she said something to me. She said, well, you guys have a bad coach. And, I'm just thinking that's my girlfriend talking. I tried to explain. I said, babe, listen, it's about the players. It's not really about the coach. The players have to execute. She brought something to my attention, and I want you guys' opinion on this. And I went back and I watched the last 3 games that the Miami Dolphins have played. And I was just watching Adam Gase mannerism. I was watching his facial expressions. There's times where he looked disgusted with this team. There's times where it doesn't seem like he's motivating the team. Adam Gase, we looked at Adam Gase last year as a player coach. You looked at last year, you'll look at him when a team would do something great, you'll see him high-fiving with Ryan Tannehill and just seemed like he was always coaching a team. I mean, there was a play where Matt Moore threw the interception at the end of the quarter versus the Patriots. And when Matt Moore walked off the field, you just seen a look of disgust in Adam Gase's face. And at that time, in my opinion, the score was 10-21. We were still in the ball game. We was getting the ball back. And to me, it just seemed like he's just not coaching. When you look at Jay Ajayi, him getting rid of Jay Ajayi, and him saying, well, Jay Ajayi has an attitude problem. And Jay Ajayi, he's where do coaching come in at? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, it's kind of I see a lack of coaching this year from him. I see, even look at his press conference, he's blaming the players. You look, there was a press conference where I seen him blaming Jay Ajayi. He's blaming the receiver. I have yet to see him take accountability for this team, for the downfall of this team. For the last couple of weeks, you kind of see him a more humble Adam Gase because the team is looking so bad. But to me, this is not a great coaching year from Adam Gase, especially the talent that we have.
I seen some of that, and I was worried about the same thing until the Patriot game. And I can't remember what part of the game, but it was in the first half. And we had New England, I think it was 3rd and 10 plus. And we gave up a 39-yard pass play to that Perriman kid or whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that other wide receiver, because they only had 2 active wide receivers, and then they had their double tight ends. But he got pissed. I saw they didn't really, CBS kind of panned away from it, but they caught the beginning of it where Gase walked straight up like the fucking Vader walk straight up to Matt Burt, and made Matt Burt grab the Surface Pro, and they're sitting there, and they had Gase's back was to the camera, and he's sitting there and he's running the riot act to Matt Burt. Then they both walk over to the sideline. They're sitting down, and the game was still going on, and Gase looked like he was asking questions of Matt Burt and making Matt Burt show what how I perceived the conversation was like, motherfucker, what are you calling? Show me what you're seeing. And then right. Burke's sitting there having to scroll through and show, okay, this is what we covered. This is what they actually showed. Here's where he had to explain to Gase like what the hell he was doing.
Right.
And before I saw that, I thought the same thing you would. I thought Gase was just like, all of a sudden, the winning isn't covering up some of the issues, because winning masks a lot of problems.
Right, exactly.
It makes you avoid some of the bad part of the not every person's going to like each other, but you're still a professional to do. But then when you start losing, it's harder to look that person that you don't like in the face and stay, like, I don't know, respectful or professional.
Right.
Because now your clash of personality is coming out, and now it's hard to swallow. They just screwed up. You're trying to do something, they screw it up a couple more times, and it's hard to keep that cool.
Right.
Even when looking at how him and Matt Moore relationship, I noticed even in the preseason, Matt Moore just seemed off. Like it seemed like him and Matt. I don't know if something is going wrong in something when something happened between Adam Gase and Matt Moore. But even in the preseason, there was something off about Matt Moore. It just didn't seem like himself. And then when Matt Moore threw that interception, you just seen, I don't know if you guys seen it on the TV,
yep.
But Adam Gase threw his headphones, threw his headpiece down. You cannot do that to your quarterback. You understand what I'm saying? Especially when you're still in the game. What about patting your quarterback on the helmet, tell him, okay, it's okay. Keep your head in the game. We still got 2 more quarters. You just can't do that to your quarterback, because the rest of your team's seen that. You even see Jarvis Landry on Instagram. He's talking in codes, and it just seemed like the team and Adam Gase, they're not, something seemed off this year.
Yeah.
Is it just me, you guys? I mean, even in the preseason, you just didn't see a Matt Moore that really wanted to.
No, I thought Matt Moore was going to get cut in the preseason the way he was playing, because Matt Moore was looking terrible. Fales played much better football in the preseason than Matt Moore, especially in, I think it was the third or the fourth game. He looked absolutely completely terrible in the preseason.
Right.
But to me, all of the quarterbacks looked bad in the preseason. Every single, other than Fales. I thought Fales looked the best out of all of our quarterbacks. But
what you seen from Matt Moore would throw an interception. Matt Moore, I remember one interception Matt Moore threw in the preseason. He just walked away like, it was like he just really didn't care. You understand what I'm saying? And you never really seen that from Matt Moore. And it's go ahead, Isaiah. I'm sorry.
I thought it was like this. Matt Moore, to me, I thought Matt Moore should have been the next guy up. He's been in the system. He knows the system. He knows what's going on. And when Matt Moore sat back and watched Adam Gase go and get Jay Cutler and just bring him in and make him the starter, I probably would have did the same thing. I mean, imagine if you were at a job and you sitting at a job for 3 years, however long it is, and the other guy goes down. So you're sitting there going, okay, all right, I'm going to start. And then the next thing you know, they go out and get this guy out of retirement, hand him $10 million and give him the starting position. And you're just sitting there. You'd be like, fuck it. That's how I would be. Like, if I was at a job, I'm sitting there, I'm the next runner-up, and the next thing you know, some other guy just come walking in the door and he done got them. Like imagine if you're an employee. And I'm pretty sure all employees go through this shit all the time. You sitting there and you're waiting on a management spot or whatever. You're waiting on, a promotion. And the next thing you know, they go out and hire this guy, and he comes in and you're training him and he's making more money than you. And you've been sitting there, man, forget that. I'm ready to put my resume out there, man. I'm ready to go somewhere else.
And what got me about the whole Jay Cutler signing and then what the whole how he came in, there was some idiots that said that he was an upgrade from Ryan Tannehill.
Fail.
I mean, and we seen that was just completely just stupid to say.
Yeah, ESPN, that Jeremiah Trotter, Louis Riddick, Mike Mayock, and a couple other guys said the same thing you just mentioned. Yeah, He's the same or better than Ryan Tannehill.
Jay Cutler to
We
Miami.
see that.
He's an upgrade from Ryan Tannehill. I even seen somebody say that Jay Cutler was going to take us to the AFC Championship. I said, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" Jay Cutler.
What happened with Matt Moore is Matt Moore believed what he was reading from like that Chris Mish, Armando Salguero, that Mike Hyde guy, the local beat writers there in Miami for the Dolphins. They were reporting that they'd give Matt Moore the starter position, and they would trade for or sign somebody to back Matt Moore up. And what Gase actually did was the opposite. He brought in Jay Cutler, gave him a big contract, $10 million, with the options and incentives to earn another $3 million to make it a $13 million contract. Matt Moore is sitting there, and he has to stomach thinking that he was the starter, and now he's back to the same old role as the backup. And his play during the preseason showed that.
Look how many years
that
though,
one
Matt.
game he went 2 for 3. No, 0 for 3, and 2 of those were pick sixes. So there were completions on three incomplete passes. 2 were completed for touchdowns for the other team.
Oh man,
that said it all right there. I feel for Matt because at the time he is a decent option for us, but we can't rely on him because his career is a 500 quarterback.
Yeah, but the thing about
not being able to run and scramble takes the quarterback sneak option out of the playbook, and those bootlegs that Ryan Tannehill was using to allow Parker, Stills, and Landry that little bit of extra time to get open. And if you notice last year, those big bombs in the Charger game to Stills on that one touchdown, Ryan Tannehill scrambled out. There was a blitz. He scrambled to his right, bought a little more time, took a big shot, but it was completed in the end zone for a touchdown. But Ryan Tannehill got smacked. And Matt Moore and Jay Cutler can't give you that option. They can wiggle in the pocket, but you got 5 blockers and there's 6 guys and there's 2 free rushers. You're fucked. You're a sitting goose.
Yep.
But I heard the same thing you guys did. They were talking about how Jay Cutler was going to come in. He's better than Ryan Tannehill. He's going to open up the play.
That was
There's going to be more
laughable, man.
long passes, completions. And I sit there and I just was fucking like, are you guys for serious? Did he do that shit in Chicago? No. But I didn't think he was going to be as bad as he is, as he showed. So there was something because I got mad at, as a former player, I think he's on ESPN. He was a former Steeler defensive back. He's always coming in on the first take with Stephen A. Smith and those guys. And he's on NFL Live with that booth. Anyway, he said that the big thing that he didn't like about bringing in Ryan Tannehill or Jay Cutler to replace Tannehill on injury was he had enough time mentally to say that he's retired.
Right.
And that it's hard for a professional athlete once they're in a mode for that for a while. It's going to take a while for them to get back in that competitive edge. That's why he thought like a Brock Osweiler or a Colin Kaepernick or trading for somebody's backup or something would have been a better move because they weren't mentally retired and Jay Cutler was. But I didn't think it was going to be like what he said would be true. But it's bearing it out that there's something might be to that. That once, you tell yourself, hey, I'm done, and then you come back. Because he's like, to me, like he's like Julius Thomas. He's just very unathletic. He's jogging through his thing, his routes and stuff. He's not crisp, but who are you going to put in behind him? There's no one there.
Wow.
But yeah, that's how I met Isaiah. Is he was like, you guys are crazy if you think Jay Cutler is going to take us to the AFC Championship game, or even to where we're going to beat New England. You guys are smoking hardcore.
Hey,
need to pass that shit down.
My prediction went from 11-5 to 4-12. Soon as I saw Jay Cutler walking through the door, I was like, "Yep, we going 4-12." If you looked at that schedule, I looked at that schedule and I say, you know what? I thought a lot of the games coming into this season would be close. I thought we would have a bunch of close games, like the Raiders, some of maybe one of the Patriots game, the Chiefs game. I thought they were going to be close games. And with Jay Cutler back there, the erratic quarterback, interception guy who always seemed to come up with a stupid pick, like that stupid pick that he threw. We going in that, well, I think it was the second quarter. He threw that dumbass pick. Like that's classic Jay Cutler right there. Classic.
Right.
Yeah. Scramble into his right, throw across his body to the middle of the field, boom, straight to the linebacker.
Yeah. I knew the moment that we got rid of Jay that Jay Cutler was going to start to struggle because we didn't have a power running back. We didn't have a running back that can carry the ball 25 to 30 times, that can control the clock, that can keep the ball out of Jay Cutler's hand, that can limit his mistake. I knew the moment I seen the switch in the offense when they start putting the ball in Jay Cutler's hands more, I knew this it was downhill from there.
Yep.
I knew it was downhill from there.
I bought the Kool-Aid. I thought we could still go 10-6 and make a wild card and compete, not win against New England, but compete, because I didn't think New England was going to be as the usual New England, and especially after seeing that stomping they took to Kansas City at home in the opening week, I was like, man, if we only still had Ryan Tannehill, there's a chink in the armor to capitalize on from New England.
You know what's so scary? You know what's so scary about this, you guys? I know we're looking forward to Ryan Tannehill, but you remember last year Ryan Tannehill didn't take off until Jay Ajayi took off. You remember Ryan Tannehill started looking better after Jay Ajayi started to get going. Because remember last year we had what's the guy that got
because you have to be able to run the ball to play action pass.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Now we're going in with no running game. We're depending on Ryan Tannehill. Do you guys see Ryan Tannehill as a type of quarterback that can throw the ball 30 and 40 times and that can lead the offense without a great running back? No, I don't really see that.
No,
I think we can still do it if Kenyon Drake can control the fumbles.
Let's be real about Kenyon Drake. Let's be real about Kenyon Drake.
I do see us. We have to draft a running back, but Gase isn't going to be drafting some guy like Nick Chubb, a 20-30 carry bell cow. He's only going to get a committee. So we need someone with the skill set that can actually run and still catch. And Ajayi, love him as a runner, but in the pros, he's just not that pass catcher.
But the thing about this offense, we don't really need a running back that can catch and run because we got Jarvis Landry. And Jarvis Landry is good for the dink and dunks. And, you could throw Jarvis Landry a 4-yard catch, and he can turn it into a 50, 60-yard. So I'm not really worried about a running back that can catch the ball because if we keep Jarvis Landry, the problem that I'm worried about is a running back that can take the pounding, that can control the clock, that can even keep the ball out of Ryan Tannehill's hand.
I think that's the reason why this last few weeks of this season is kind of pivotal. I want to see what we have in Davion Smith. Maybe with these last few weeks, we give Davion Smith some carries and we find out that hey, we have our power back in Davion Smith, because that's everything that I've heard on him, every scouting report I've read on him. He's that type of back. He's that one cut power, head down type of running back. So maybe we still have that guy. He just wasn't on the roster, and now he's going to get that opportunity to be that type of running back. I don't know how many carries he's going to get, but I don't think Drake is that 25 to 30 carry type.
No.
Nah. To me he's a scat back.
Exactly.
So I think Drake can give us 10 to 15 carries, 100-something yards a game on the ground, and about 5 to 6 catches in the pass, and maybe another 100 yards receiving is the optimal that he can get. I think Gase is excited to see what Sunrise Perry can do, but he's hurt.
Yep.
Drake kind of reminds me of a Lamar Miller type, because Lamar Miller wasn't really a power back. He was kind of a finesse back. He's a type of back that can kill you for a 60, 70 yard, just like Ken Drake is. But I think the Miami Dolphins need a power back, a back like the Miami.
But Gase isn't going to do that.
They need a back like what's the kid from Dallas?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott. I was looking at the Dallas game, right? The Miami Dolphins remind me so much of the Dallas Cowboys. The moment the Dallas Cowboys lost their star running back, you seen their offense just look out of sync. And I was looking at that, and it kind of remind me of the Dolphins, a team that need to stay balanced, a team that need a running back, a team that need to keep the ball out the quarterback hand. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to put the ball in Ryan Tannehill's hand, we got to use Ryan Tannehill with the play action and stuff like that. We don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball 40 and 30 times, in my opinion.
Now, we don't necessarily have to have a great running back to do that with. If you watch the game, this last game with Dallas versus the Redskins, you watch Alfred Morris run for 130 yards. Part of the reason why they were able to do that is because they have a very big physical offensive line up front. So you can have, that offensive line that the Cowboys had, they've had 3-4 different 1,000-yard rushers behind it. They had the guy who's in Tennessee right now. They had
Murray,
Ezekiel Elliott. They had the guy who just retired. He ran for 1,000 yards behind that line. So there's like 3 or 4 guys. McFadden, yeah. So they've had 3 and 4, and McFadden has been banged up, hurt, and he still ran for 1,000 yards. And they were flipping back and forth with different quarterbacks. And their number 1 wide receiver wasn't even out there. He still ran for 1,000 yards behind that line. So
yeah, Zach Martin is like watching fucking offensive guard pornography.
This
that good.
This needs to be the off season where they fully address and absolutely fix the offensive line up front.
It seems like we talk about that.
Well, here's
every year.
the pivotal part upon it is Gase actually has to decide the identity that he really wants to have.
Exactly.
He had his chance with the Ajayi as a power back with what was stopping him from putting Drake in there or Williams in there to give him that guy that can run and catch out of the backfield and use the power for Ajayi to get that 3rd and 2 for a first down. There was nothing stopping him from doing that.
Nope.
But when you look at how you're going to finish this team off, because we're close, you have to decide, do I want to run and pass, or do I just want to be a finesse passing team? And then if you decide on one of those, that's where that decision picks the offensive line that you draft or sign in the offseason. And the way he brought in Ted Larson, who's a finesse swing guard, that's not a power run, and he's now using those finesse offensive linemen to try to power run in the middle, and it's not working. It's a mixture of design of the scheme, the wrong players to run that scheme, and calling something that you're not sure that you want to be or not.
There's only a handful of quarterbacks in this league that you can put in that backfield and not have a strong running game and still be able to succeed. I mean, you got Brady, you got Breeze,
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. It's
a short list.
It's a very short list. Maybe even Russell Wilson, because he could still get that team to the playoffs even with a bad offensive line. But like from all those other guys, I mean, you see it like you were saying earlier with Dak Prescott. You see how he succeeded last year, and that was because he was very strong with the run game.
Right.
And he was able to add that complement. But we don't have that guy right now. So to getting rid of Jay Ajayi, it looks dumber and dumber by the day.
Exactly. Right. That's what I was saying, because I see Ryan Tannehill as like a Dak Prescott. I think Ryan Tannehill has a stronger arm and he's a better pocket passer than Dak. But I think their skills is very similar. I think they need a strong running game. I think they ever, you know what I mean, that they can do the play action pass every now and then. You can roll them out. But I see our offense kind of like the Dallas Cowboys offense. It's very similar in my opinion. And what scares me,
I look at us more closer to the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh no.
Because Matt Ryan is great. But look what happened to him when his running backs got hurt. They went on that 4 or 5 game losing streak. And then the running backs came back, and now he's back to being the second-rated quarterback in the league. But when his offensive line was a little bit suspect, he lost his running backs.
Yeah.
He lost his success there. He started struggling because he can't carry – he don't have the skill set like Rodgers. He can't extend the play out like a Dak Prescott. Buy that extra half a second or second. Allow the guys to go when the offensive line is struggling and there's no running game.
Well, you got to remember the Atlanta Falcons got the best receiver in this game. You got to remember that the Atlanta Falcons got to me.
But he's been hurt.
The best number 2 wide receiver in Sanu. So the Atlanta Falcons really don't need the run game. I think Matt Ryan is a little better than Ryan Tannehill, not by much, but I do think he's better than Ryan Tannehill. So Ryan Tannehill needs a running game. I don't think Matt Ryan needs a running game. Not when you got a health, like you say, Julio has been hurt, but Julio can beat you with 300 yards in the game.
This offensive line and the running backs were the same as last year with Ryan Tannehill, right? And we saw what happened when you can't have a mobile quarterback to be able to maneuver past the bad offensive line.
Yeah.
Like, look what happened with the Packers. That was the same offensive line, same receivers, running backs, everything. And the Packers were a playoff contending team. He goes out with the shoulder injury, bring in Huntley. Now everybody's screaming, well, their offensive line is trash. They don't have a running back. No one was saying that when it was Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And it's the same for Miami right now. We had the same offensive line. And Ryan Tannehill made it work because he could move around.
Yeah, but Ryan Tannehill always had 1,000-yard running back. Remember, Lamar Miller was 1,000-yard running back. Let's not act like before Jay Ajayi came, that's the reason why Houston paid Lamar Miller the money, because Lamar Miller felt like he was a good running back in this league. Lamar Miller had 2,000-yard seasons with Ryan Tannehill. The problem was we didn't have a power back. We didn't have a back that can control the clock like Jay Ajayi could. You understand what I'm saying?
Joe Philbin held Lamar Miller back, though. I remember games of watching Lamar Miller have like 12 carries and wondering what the hell is Joe Philbin doing? I mean, he would literally have Lamar Miller going good and just completely go away from it.
But he still ran for 1,000.
Yeah. He could have had more than that because Joe Philbin held him back. And Lamar Miller was complaining about that.
Look at Ajayi, what Isaiah is talking about. Look at Ajayi last year. He was out, 5 games, 6 games, and got 1,200 yards. But there was games where there was no running game because the guys are getting, 5, 8 carries. The other guys got, 4 carries. At one point, at that first 5 or 6 games, we had activated and playing. We were rotating through a 5-man rotation on the running back spot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys a funny stats. Did you guys know that that Joe Philbin never went on a 5-game losing streak? And guess what? The Miami Dolphins on.
Oh,
This
yeah.
could, if we was to lose Sunday, it would be a 6-game losing streak that the Miami Dolphins own. And Joe Philbin never had a 5-game losing streak.
Joe
That's
Philbin.
hard to believe in. That's hard to believe, right?
Joe
As
Philbin.
bad as we look.
Joe Philbin is he's 2 games away from still being the quarterback. I mean, still being the coach here. We were 7-5. We went
8-8 2 years in a row, remember?
Yeah.
I think.
At one point we were 7-5. I forget what year that was. I think it was either 2015 or 2014. We were 7-5. We needed to win 1 game, and we were in the playoffs, and we lost out. And we ended up winning, I think, that last game to go 8-8. But we were 7-5 at one point, and ready to go to the playoffs. We would have made the playoffs, and I think he would have still been here as the coach.
So think about this: if we go 5-11 or 6-10, Joe Philbin never had a 5 or 11 or 6-10 season. Maybe we kind of overrated Adam Gase. Maybe we kind of anointed him too early. Remember that was some people last year were calling him the next Don Shula, the best thing that happened. What'd you say? Some people was
not me.
Not you.
I've never said that. Anytime somebody came with that "in Gase we trust" shit, I used to make fun of them.
They was anointing him, and I thought it was a little premature. I was, wait a minute, let's see, could he give us an encore? And he didn't. And you can say what you want about the quarterback being hurt, but you know what they were trying to sell to the Miami Dolphins fan base is Jay Cutler is not too much of a difference from Ryan Tannehill. That's what we were sold. That's not a big drop off between Jay Cutler and Ryan Tannehill. Now we see that there is a big drop off, but coming into this season, that's what all the analysts and everybody on ESPN and NFL Network was saying. You even had some people saying, like I said before, it was an upgrade. So I don't. A lot of people giving Gase a pass on this year, and I'm like, why? Jay Cutler is the guy that he brought in. Hello?
All right. I'm sorry, man. I freaking, for some reason, I clicked it off. But anyway, man, we'll be talking to you guys next week. Next week, we're talking about the Patriots, Dolphins. And I just want to dive more and more into the draft next week. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.